was about 5:55 this morning. I heard Darlene go outside. I was laying here in my bed. Jake was in Jake's bed. And I heard Darlene go outside. It sounded like she went outside. She answered a cell phone call. And she said, "Hello." Sounded like she was right outside Jake's bedroom window over there. Um, Same thing has happened before. My impression is that there's probably a detective, police officer that is calling the informants. In the past, that's what I'm pretty sure has happened. The cop is contacting the informant and requesting permission to conduct warrantless searches, supervision, and monitoring. I don't even know the identity of the cop. I don't know who that person is. I've had informants falsify statements to my face and say that I was speaking to a cop on the phone. I've never talked to cops on the phone. There's nobody that calls me on a daily basis and gets consent from me from anything. I've never given anybody my consent to give my consent to a cop. Darlene doesn't have my consent to receive phone calls from a detective or cop to get, permission from me. Darlene is not my representative. I have not given Darlene my permission to have contact with a police officer or anybody investigating me in my son. I've never given anybody that permission ever. And what's happening is it appears that these phone calls are occurring outside in proximity to the window of this room, apparently to make it sound like I am making or receiving the phone call, or at least to make it show up on the audio monitoring as though I am aware of it or have knowledge of these phone calls to the snitches. I've heard it 2 or 3 days now, and I've never given anybody permission to receive phone calls from a cop or anybody, and I've never given permission to anybody to conduct warrantless searches. Nobody's ever supervised me and Jake, and I think somebody paid for our first month's rent here. I paid $50. Darlene told me I could just work off the $250 in labor. But the other day I was asking her what she wanted me to do. She acted like she didn't know what I was talking about. She is being extremely deceptive. And, all I can say is I don't know who the cop is that's investigating me and Jake. I've never given anybody permission to have contact with a police officer or investigator. I have never been invited to participate or testify on the record. I've never waived my constitutional rights. I've never been informed of any type of searches or monitoring. I've never given consent to any such thing, ever. And I have never given a police officer permission to call anybody I know or speak to anybody I know about me and my son or anything else. So it's the same game, and it appears that these calls are being made, and have been made to informants who are acting as though they are my representative. I am my representative. I'm completely competent being my own representative. Being deceptive, contacting people around me, my neighbors, housemates, co-workers, employers, store clerks, but never contacting me is extremely deceptive. And the whole purpose of doing that is to be deceptive so that I am not allowed to testify or object. I do not consent to searches, surveillance, monitoring, or supervision. Amen, Cat. Maybe if we feed her a lot of extra food, then she'll start to like us.
What's the hairbrush?
It was in that bucket if it's not, it's on the floor.
What was it? The bucket.
It's not in the bucket.
No, it's not.
Well, it must have fallen on the floor by the suitcase.
Oh, here it is.
Um.
Like here in the hallway.
Yay. Get meowed.